Okay, hello, welcome to Airsoft Pro Tips. So this episode we're going to be talking about support roles, i.e. the Grenadier and the Support Gunner. Now last episode we talked about the soldier, the infantryman, and we talked about the team captain. Now last time we talked about support, we talked about support fire, fire suppression essentially. Now, if you haven't seen that video yet, or you don't know what suppression is, go back, watch that one, and then come back and watch this one. It is okay, I can wait. Okay, so now that everyone's caught up, support gunner, support gun. Big, heavy, chunky gun, big, chunky mag. Now, support gunner is your suppression expert, because in the end of the day you can keep fire on a position with this much longer than you can with any other gun. Now this gun weighs quite a lot. I don't know exactly what it weighs, but let me tell you, it's pretty heavy. You can get some which are aluminium and plastic and those weigh significantly less, but no, this is one of the heavy ones. Now when you're deciding to be a support gunner, or when you are in a team and you are assigning a support gunner, there are a few things you have to think about. Now, one of the most important things to consider is, like I've said before, what kind of site are you playing on? Now, some sites will consider a support gunner just an infantryman for all intents and purposes, and they will allow as many support guns on the field as people want to bring. So I've played on sites where there have been 4 or 5 support guns a team in play because people just so happen to have bought them. But on the other hand, some sites will have limited numbers of these because of what we call attrition. Now attrition is when you get stuck, say you've got your enemies here and this is your force, and you get stuck in a position no one can move either way because you've both got heavy weapons pointed at each other, and essentially you're stuck until someone runs out of ammo or someone takes enough casualties or a team medic dies or whatever. But anyway, these cause a lot of that, so sometimes sites limit them. Sometimes they'll say two per side, some less, some more. It really depends on the site, how big it is, so on and so forth. But yeah, support gunner. Now really there are several ways you can use your support gun. You can use it in a defensive way, you can use it in a aggressive supportive way, and you can also use it as head of a patrol, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Okay, so I'm the support gunner. Now, my weapon has an insane amount of suppression. We talked about suppression in the last video. Now, I can use that in one of multiple ways. I can use that either in a defensive way or in an aggressive way. Now, what we've got here is we've got ourselves a nice defensive position. Right behind us over there is our objective that we're holding. The enemy are most likely going to be coming from that direction. So what I've got is I've got my support gun set up. I've got some nice cover either side, so what I can do, fix myself in a position, get ready to fire, and I can stay here for however long is needed. Either until enemies come over, I can be the first response, get lots of rounds down range before they get close, stop them coming up the hill, gives time for my guys behind me to react, move to reinforce this side. Or I can use my support gun in an aggressive way. Now this has a big ammo capacity, it's got over 2,000 rounds, means I can pop rounds, keep an eye on the area, the moment someone pops up, completely spray him with this, give lots of cover so my team can move forward. Right, go! Say we're doing a combat patrol. We're moving down here, we're moving down this path, we're patrolling this road. Now I'm going to go first, I'm going to be patrol leader with this heavy support gun, because it means if we get ambushed, we can get loads of fire down on them to begin with, take the edge off that ambush, put us back in control. Contact right! Okay, so support guns. Pros and cons. Pros, a lot of fun. Big, heavy, they're quite satisfying to run around with. They really feel like you're running around with a nice bit of kit. Price. Mine cost me £300 and that was cheap. Mine cost me £300 because this is an A&K one, or at least it was an A&K one before I seriously gutted it. But the mag itself is a classic army mag because I've heard that or at least I was told that they have less jams than some of the A&K mags. I don't know how true or not that is, but as I say, it was part of the deal, 300 quid, including the Classic Army mag, and normally these are like 50 to 60 quid by themselves, so it wasn't too big a deal, plus the guy who was selling it threw in a couple of batteries and various other things, so all in all it wasn't too bad. But support guns can go seriously up in price. They can go for up to 500 or £1,000 I've seen them at, especially if you're going for something a little bit obscure like one of the MG42s or something, because surprisingly no one does an AEG MG42, and I don't quite know why, but they don't. Now also, price wise, big mag, lots of ammo, especially if you're using it properly, because in the end of the day you're going to be called on to be firing off a lot of rounds. And this is 2,500 round mag, pack of BBs, well maybe not this one because it's half empty, but pack of BBs, probably about 5,000 BBs, don't know how many there were in this one, but in the end of the day this box is going to hold 2 mags for 1 bag of BBs. Now I've taken this out on a whole day and I've ended up spending 4 bags of BBs through this thing. Now arguably yes, okay, that was when I first got it and I was quite trigger happy, but in the end of the day, depends how much your BBs are costing, but if they're costing you, what, £7, £8, maybe £10 a bag, then, you know, you do the math really. So, another problem you have using a support gun, like I said before, is they're heavy. Now, the problem with them being heavy is it makes it difficult to move. It makes it difficult to swing them around corners. It makes it difficult where if you're lying up in a position, especially if you've got the bipod out and you've got the shoulder rest going, it makes it difficult to suddenly pick that whole thing up and turn it onto an enemy. Especially if you're in the forest, especially if you've got trees, woodlands around you, it's not that easy to manoeuvre. But this is where your pistol comes in. Now I've said before, pistols are completely optional, and you know, there aren't many times when I've used mine, but when I have used mine it's when I've been support gunning or sniping. Now we'll talk about sniping in a later video, but the nice thing about pistols is the majority of pistols on the market, with a bit of practice, can be used one-handed. I mean, even things like the Lugers, once you know how to do it, or even if you're carrying something like a revolver, real simple with a revolver because you just got the hammer, bang, or if you've got a double action one, just keep those shots going. Now in this kind of situation, when you're lying up waiting with your support gun, you see someone on your side, all you need to do is just grab your gun from your holster and bang, and it's sorted. Stops the enemy getting the drop on you. So this is the kind of situation where I would say pistols are very, very good to have with you, but like I said right from the beginning of the video, pistol is not something you need. You're not going to get many kills with it, but it can give you that edge if you do.